WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, our website, www.wvtcradio.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. Thank you for tuning to WVTC Radio Detroit and the Community Bell Show with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner Edna Bell. Stay tuned for insightful information Detroiters will find valuable. Text a friend and tell them to watch with you for news you can use. And now, your host, Edna Bell.
Your mic is muted.
Yeah, Edna, unmute yourself.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a wonderful Monday, and it's 4:00, so it just must be the Community Bell Show. I'm your host, Edna Bell. I am pleased to be with you today. We have our special guest, Mr. Ken Scott, real estate person extraordinaire who has all sorts of good information. You know, when Ken is with us, we always learn something. So you probably ought to have your pen and pencil ready because whatever he says, you're going to need to write down. Ken Scott, welcome. How are you this Monday? Are you doing well?
Fine. How are you?
Great.
Doing fine.
Great. So glad to have you. Some of you may notice Ken is in the car. Ken is always moving. Ken is always working. So if anybody ever tells you that they saw Ken and he was asleep, don't believe him. It wasn't Ken. It was an person. It was somebody else. It was because he doesn't even sleep. He's always moving. Ken, talk to us about real estate.
Well, I mean, it's a good time to buy in this city. However, it is still a seller's market, and you have to be prepared. I mean, just make sure that you have your ducks in a row.
And tell people what it means to be a seller's market.
Seller market means that there's very low inventory out there, but there are plenty of buyers, and it's highly competitive at this time. You might have multiple offers. Some people are familiar with the term highest and best, and that definitely comes into play in this particular market. However, it is kind of leveling off in various communities, so you have to be cognizant of the market that you're trying to buy a home in.
And when he says it's a seller's market, believe me, it's still a seller's market.
Absolutely.
That simply means that if you see this beautiful house that you want, and you said, oh, I think I'll try it next week. Don't do that, because when you come back, it will be gone. And not only will it be gone, it will be gone at $20,000 or $30,000 more than what they were asking for it. So if it costs $160,000 today and you think, oh, I got 160, plan on having 190 because it's going to go for more than that 160. Believe me, people are outbidding each other on houses now. It's quite incredible.
Yeah, just be prepared. Have your finances in order. Have obviously your credit prior to that, but at the same time, your finances in order to position yourself for something that you've always wanted, but at the same time has alluded to so far.
And we saw some great houses last week. Ken and I were out looking at homes. I've got to tell you, there's some homes that you probably have driven by and said, wow, I sure would like to live on this street. I'd love to live on Outer Drive. I'd love to live on Parkside. I'd love to live on LaSalle. You can. There are houses waiting for you. We saw some just lovely, lovely houses that have been well maintained, nice large backyards, beautiful porches, nice basements, beautiful bedrooms with gorgeous redone bathrooms. I mean, just some really nice places. Ken's going to tell you about some of those, aren't you, Ken?
Yeah, the homes nowadays are not your mom and pop, grandmother and grandfather homes. A lot of these homes have been bought, renovated from top to bottom, from the roof all the way down to the foundation. And you have some move-in ready homes now that you have very little to do in order to move in these homes other than get the financing necessary to acquire them. I just can't say enough about the neighborhoods that were once overlooked, the homes that were once overlooked. And at this point in time, people have bought them, like I said, rehab them from top to bottom. And you don't have to do anything but move in. It's move-in ready homes. So if you can acquire that financing. But at the same time, there are also some homes out there that need some rehab and what have you. And there's some rehab dollars out there in order for you to buy those as well and fix those homes up and rehab them to your liking as opposed to someone else's.
And as we talk about the homes, Ken has already said to you, you need to have your stuff in place. You need to have your credit in place. You need to have your down payment ready. You need to have all the information that's going to be required so that you can get that dream home you've always wished for. We met with a young man from one of the banks last week. What was his name, Ken?
His name was Ken Sullivan. He's from Flagstar Bank.
And they have some great programs. just some great programs.
Yeah.
One of the programs, Ken, there was a gift that they give. What was that gifting program they have?
Absolutely. In the event that you don't have the money to close or what have you, there can be gifted funds in order for you to purchase the home. So the only thing you basically have to do is have a good debt to income ratio as well as a good credit score and what have you. If you need down payment assistance, a lot of entities have those now. A lot of entities are pushing those programs a great deal given the remainder of the year and probably well into next year. So you just have to know which entity you're dealing with. Banks, for the most part, have financing that's available, but at the same time, there may be some other lenders out there that have down payment assistance or closing cost assistance programs in order to help you purchase a home.
And those things require that you have your ducks in order, as Ken said.
Absolutely.
And what do we mean when we say ducks in order? We mean that your credit is in order. Your debt to income. And it won't be a surprise. You shouldn't let it be a surprise. You can look up your own credit.
Right.
Free.
Yeah. Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. However, please do not get hung up with Credit Karma. Credit Karma is for purchases that are retail purchases as opposed to mortgage purposes. So make sure that you're not judging it on Credit Karma because it could be anywhere from 30 to 50 points off your credit score if you're relying on Credit Karma.
Mm-hmm. So you can, as Ken said, you can go to Equifax, Experian, or TransUnion. And you can get it. Is it free? Is it once a year or once a month?
You can go to annualcreditreport.com and access your credit reports. However, you won't be able to get the score. So once you have accessed it through annualcreditreport.com, it's good for up until April of 2022. You can access your report free of charge on a weekly basis, whether it be Equifax, TransUnion, or Experian. So it's best to know what you owe at this point in time, get it taken care of, and position yourself for the home ownership, like I stated.
When you go to those credit reports, sometimes there are things on there that you never heard of, and you don't even know how they got there. That's why it's so important that you check them on a regular basis to make sure that somebody hasn't done something with your credit that you don't know about. That can happen, and it does happen often, unfortunately. So make sure that you check your credit report. I would say at least once a month, at least, so that you know what's there.
Nope.
And they can.
I have to be reconnected, I guess.
You're still there. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Well, as you do that, your credit report is because that's what's going to determine your interest rate, how much down payment you're going to have to make, how much money they will be able to loan you or grant you, because there are grants. There are loans. You want to try and get a grant, and several of the banks, Liberty Bank for one is for sure, that has grants. And if you live in the city of Detroit and you work for the Detroit Public Schools system, they have an additional $5,000 that you are able to access if your credit is right and if you have the right kind of things in terms of debt to income.
I am muted, I think. I'm not sure.
I can hear you. Can you hear me? He's having a little technical difficulty. So while he does that, I'll keep talking about how important it is to have your credit in order, because the last thing you want is to find this gorgeous house that you've always wanted. Get ready to make your offer, and then find you can't get it. I will tell you that if you are working with Canada Scott and Wallace Real Estate Company, we won't let that happen to you. Because what Canada Scott and Wallace does with their clients They help you look at your credit as soon as you decide you want to buy a house. They help you look at that credit. They help you.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Can you hear me? We can hear you. You can't hear us, I take it. You're muted.
Edna, for some reason, I cannot hear you.
Try to go back in, but I can hear you. Go off and come back in. Are you off? Are you back? But it's so important that you have all those things ready, because the last thing you want to do is not be able to get that dream house. But as I said, I know with Ken Scott and Candler Scott and Wallace Real Estate Company, they get you ready long before that. As soon as you decide you want to work with the Candler Scott Wallace Real Estate Company, they have you pull your credit report. They look at that credit report. They help you determine if there are things in that credit report that you can take care of right away. And they help you maneuver so that you are able to buy that dream house of yours. So you don't get to the last minute and find out you want to buy the house and your credit isn't right. Candler Scott and Wallace will help you from the very beginning to look at that credit report, to help you maneuver with the items on that credit report. They'll put you with a finance person who knows how to make things happen with your finances, will tell you what to do, and then put you with a lender who is able to not only help you with down payment assistance up to $15,000, but if you are with Detroit Public School Systems, they will help you with a grant of additional $5,000. So there are ways for you to get that house that you want. You just have to start early, make sure you've got everything in place, and talk to people who know what they're doing. Now, in order to get those grants, though, there is a education session you have to go through.
Very much so.
And he's back. Great, thank you. And Ken is a certified housing counselor. Talk about the certified housing counseling piece, Ken.
What we do is take you through 8 hours of home buyer ed, where you know about the various programs out there. You know how to maneuver and navigate through the home buying process, so you're not taken advantage of. You know the issues that you're dealing with as regarding making an offer, having an offer accepted, knowing where the financing is coming from. But most importantly is getting your budget and your credit together in order to position yourself again for home ownership.
And now Ken teaches those classes. You must go through the class and have a certificate that says you went through the class. You just can't walk up there and say, "Oh yeah, I went through the class." No. That's not how that goes. You have to have the certificate signed by Ken that says you actually went through the class. And you'd be surprised at how fast it goes, because there's so much good information. You'd be surprised at how fast it goes. You don't even know you've been there 8 hours. And he does it on Saturdays. Give him the time frames, Ken.
Well, it's the fourth Saturday of every month. We usually go from 10 to 2 on Saturday for the first-time home buyer class. We would have to do another 4 hours through one-on-one counseling as well as orientation, but at the same time, neither one is going to precede the other in a lot of cases. So we're there to assist you in preparing for home ownership.
And that's something you don't get at every real estate company. Everybody is not a certified housing counselor, and everyone does not take the time that he puts in to give you all the necessary information to get you ready to buy that house on Outer Drive that you've always wanted to live in. Absolutely. Or to buy that house on the sale that you think you just want to have. But there was a house. What street was it on, Ken?
Which one?
Santa Barbara, Whittingham. One of the.
I don't remember which one it was, but it was really nice.
Yes, there was. I mean, the kitchen was wonderful. They had redone the kitchen, the countertops, the backsplash. I mean, it was just a great house. And not only that, the backyard, almost the entire backyard was a deck. So you could have all sorts of parties back in that backyard. It was a great, great house. And so you would want to be able to get the house of your dreams. You want to be able to invite people over. There was another house that had 4 bedrooms and 1, 2, 3, 3.5 baths, I believe. Huge master bedroom. Nice little porch you could sit out in the morning and have your coffee on off the master bedroom. So you've got some beautiful homes.
That home there.
Yes.
The house had been totally renovated from top to bottom.
And these houses we're talking about are all homes that are in Detroit. They are all homes that were listed for less than $200,000. They are all homes that anyone would want to live in.
Absolutely. And neighborhoods you would like to live in as well. Keep in mind that over the last few years, a lot of neighborhoods have really been, upgraded a great deal, in the sense that there are homes that are in neighborhoods that you wouldn't have even imagined years ago that have been renovated to your liking. And I don't know, it just seems like everyone is renovating homes from the $50,000 range all the way up to the whatever range. And it's to your liking. It's there in the sense that it has been constructed properly. It has the proper mechanisms. It has the decor is just out of this world, as Edna can state. The decor was just crazy. And the staged on top.
Yes, I was going to say one of the houses was already staged, already had furniture in it, already had a bedroom out suite in the bedroom. The living room was set out, gorgeous fireplace, finished basement. These houses are something that you would certainly showcase. And the neighbors have kept their property up, which I think is probably one of the most important things. The neighbors kept their property. The lawns were manicured. They were flowered. The houses were all very, very nice. They had kept the property painted and manicured, and the streets were all very clean. You would be very pleased to know that. Now, there was one street I've got to tell you that I don't think I've ever heard of in Detroit, London Street. And kids said, okay, we're going to a house on London Street. I said, there's no street in Detroit called London Street. I've never heard of it. Well, there is a London Street. And it's a small, short street. Nicest street you ever want to see. Beautiful houses. There was a house on that street that was just gorgeous. Yes. So believe me, you don't have to go anywhere. You can stay right here in Detroit and find some of the best housing stock and the most well-renovated housing stocks you will ever want to see.
Very much so.
So, Ken, anything you want to add? I know you've got a client you need to go, but I just want to
always pay attention to your credit, how you're utilizing it. Make sure that your credit scores are somewhere in the 6s. If it's in the 5s and you need some help and what have you, you can contact us. But at the same time, your preference is to get in the mid 6s, where you can access a conventional loan. FHA is still good, VA is still good, but at the same time, this is a highly competitive market where you need to basically go conventional, if at all possible, because you want to compete with those other people that are putting in offers. And believe me, this is a seller's market, so you have a lot of competition out here presently. And you probably will have until the end of the year.
And people are going to want to sell the easiest way they can.
Absolutely.
And conventional is the easiest way they can. FHA is great. However, it is not the easiest way.
Yeah.
Conventional is the easiest way. So you want to have yourself ready for that market, ready to be able to accept those loans and grants, and ready for the banks to be able to say, all right, you're good to go. Let's make this happen. So
Okay.
that's
So give us a call, 313-863-5555, and we'll help you as best we can, given your circumstances and what have you. And if you're not ready presently, we will definitely get you along those lines. So please give us a call.
all right. Ken, when's the next first time home buyers conference?
Not with the phone system like it is now, and me being on mobile phone, I can't tell you, but it's the fourth Saturday of the month. I think it's the 25th, if I'm mistaken.
So the fourth Saturday of September, everybody, is the next home buyers, first time home buyers, and you will want to be there. You will want to be there. Contact Candler Scott.
Wallace Real Estate.
Wallace Real Estate.
And keep in mind, you can always log on to our Facebook page as well, which is CSW Real Estate or Candler Scott and Wallace Real Estate. At that point in time, we'll make you aware of the classes that are available from this point to the end of the year.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you, Ken.
All right. Thank you.
All
right. Take care.
All righty. Take care. 863-5555, 313-863-5555, Ken Scott, Candler Scott and Wallace Real Estate. And I do that because people just don't know. People want to have their own home. They want to buy a house. They just don't know how. And so we're going to provide all the information we possibly can on how they can do that. And we'll do it once a month. We'll do it as long as you need us to do it. But we're going to do that. And what I'd like you to do, audience, is to let us know if you sit in on the classes, if you have called, if you want something, let us know. You can do it online. You can do it on Facebook. You can do it WVTCradio.com, WVTCradio@gmail.com. Just contact us and we'll be glad to respond to WVTCDetroit@gmail.com, WVTCRadioDetroit@gmail.com. Send us an email. Let us know what you think. Pass it on to your relatives. Information is power, and we want you to have all the power you possibly can. Okay, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back with some more information so that you could be powerful, because we got lots of information for you. Hello, hello, hello. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. And now here I am with information for everybody. So now, it's my favorite subject was the census. So we'll go back 2 years now when we talked about the census and how important it was that everybody fill out that census forms. Why? Because the census determines how much representation we have in Congress. Everybody gets 2 senators. Everybody knows that. However, our U.S. Congress people are determined by the number of people you have in your state. We have 14 today. However, we will probably have 13 after when the next election comes. Why? Because we didn't have enough people in the state of Michigan to maintain our 14 Congress people. And that's determined by the number of people who filled out the census forms. Some of y'all didn't fill the forms out. Come on, I know you didn't. I know you probably said, yeah, I filled mine out. Because if everybody had filled out those forms, we wouldn't be losing a congressperson. So now that we know that's going to happen, the question is, where will those Congress people be? Where are the lines going to be drawn for the Congress people? Right now, Detroit has 2 Congress people that represent our city. The question will be, will we continue to have 2 people representing the city of Detroit? And what about the rest of the state? How will those lines be drawn so that representation is appropriate and truly representative of the areas that the Congress people will be representing? There are people who are making that decision as we speak. They are called the Redistricting Commission. The Redistricting Commission was selected or elected last year. They have been meeting all year. They have a meeting today, they have a meeting tomorrow, they have a meeting the next day, and they meet all over the state to get input from citizens and to get citizens to tell them how they think the lines should be drawn for the House of Representatives for the state of Michigan. There are 13 people on that redistricting committee. 13. They represent the entire state. 3 of them are from the city of Detroit and hopefully are speaking on our behalf for the city of Detroit. There are 3. There are meetings all over the state. And our desire is that the people who represent Detroit will, in fact, attend those meetings, attend as many of those meetings as they possibly can. There's one tonight. There's one on the 15th at Michigan State University in the Huron Room. There's one on the 16th. There's another one on the 17th. So they're having them almost every day in different parts of the state so that they can get input from citizens on where those lines should be drawn. Clearly, I am a little bit biased because I want Detroit to have as much representation as possible. And I don't want the Detroit vote to be diluted. And so those are a couple of the things that we want to keep an eye on, is how those lines are drawn and if our vote is being diluted. So it's hopefully by the time, maybe in the next couple of weeks, I'll have some sample maps to share with you just to get your input on what you think those lines should look like and how you think they should be drawn. I'll have a number for you then they do ask for citizen input. There is a way for you to tell them what you think. You can do that. So let me, they have something they call community outreach. And I will tell you that they have lots and lots and lots and lots of meetings, but they also have a way that you can go online and give some input. And that's what I'd like us to do. I want us to get involved in some of these things. I want us to do as best we can to tell people what you think. Give them your opinion on what's going on. There is I'm going to pull it up for you. Sorry that I'm turning my head back and forth, but I want to pull up some information so that you know how to give information to the folk. They have a section. If you go to Redistricting Commission, just put in Redistricting Commission, and they have a section that tells you when the meetings are. They have a section that talks about frequently asked questions. They want to know if you want to know how you can get information to them, you can do it by going to the archives to get information, or you can email them with questions. And I'm going to give it's redistricting, REDIS, TRICTING, redistricting at Michigan.gov. Redistricting at Michigan.gov. So if you've got a question that you have for them, if you want something answered, redistricting at Michigan.gov. And I've got a question here that says, why are we getting input from the state when it affects Detroit? Well, the redistricting affects the whole state. It isn't just Detroit. It affects the whole state. So everybody's going to have different lines. And so if you want information, you have questions, or you want to just give them some information, give them your thoughts, send it redistricting at Michigan.gov. And you can send that information to them. But it is so important that we at least voice our opinion. Just voice our opinion so that people know that we aren't just sitting here wondering what the devil's going on. Let me do one last thing before we leave. More information. Okay, school is in, everybody. School is in. School is in. Your children should be going to school every day. Depending on what your school is, how they're managing it, but most children, 99% of the kids should be in school every day. So don't let them say, oh, no, we're not in school. Yes, they are. School is in. School is in. Everybody should be in school. Everybody should, if they're one of the virtual situations, let them be virtual, but they're still got to sign in for going to school. School board meetings. We ought to be just as concerned about what's going on at a school board meeting as we are about football and basketball. Now, last week, Martin Luther King and Cass Tech played football. Big game. Played at King. I drove by there. You couldn't get through there. There were so many people. There were so many cars. Oh, my goodness. It was jam-packed everywhere, all up and down Lafayette and Larned and Mount Elliott, everywhere. Cars everywhere. Wouldn't it be nice to have a school board meeting that you could hardly get into? Because parents were so concerned and so interested in what was going on in that school, in all the schools, that they were just, parking lots were jam-packed. Well, the school board meets tomorrow at Renaissance High School, 5:30 to 8. You can go in person. Renaissance High School is on Outer Drive. You can go in person, or you can go online. If you want to go online, go to DetroitK12.org. DetroitK12.org/board. So please attend school board meetings. Please let folks know that you really are concerned about what's going on in our district. that you want to have some input, at least that you are going to make sure that your children and your family has information necessary for them to be successful in school. School is in every day. October 6th, I'm telling you this early so you can't say you didn't know. I'm going to tell you for the next few weeks. October 6th, Wednesday, is Count Day. What is Count Day? Count Day is the day that we know how much money we're going to get, because that's when they count the kids. Whatever the number of students are in class on Count Day determines how much money the school system gets. So let's say 2 kids per school don't show up. Well, let's say 2 kids per class. And there are 20 classes. That's 40 kids, one school. And you get about $800 per child. That's 40 times 800, just for that one school. 40 times 800 is $32,000 for one school. That's why Count Day is so important, because it determines how much money the district is going to get in school aid money. So it's not anything to play with. It is important. Count Day, October the 6th. You'll hear that again. It's on a Wednesday, October 6th, Count Day. Make sure your child's in school on Count Day. But let's not even go there. Let's make sure your child's in school every day. Every day. Now, I understand that high schoolers and middle schoolers, parents don't have to get them to school as much. But these babies from kindergarten to 5th grade, parents, you're responsible for them getting there. You can't say, well, I sent them. That's not acceptable. You are responsible for those young people being in class. So parents, K through 5, if you've got some problems, let the teacher know. There's an organization called Helping Kids Go to School. They're going to have coaches that will be trying to work with parents to help parents get the kids to school. If it's a transportation issue, if it's a clothing issue, if it's a issue with having a babysitting issue, whatever the issue is, let somebody know. People will not make judgment on you. They will want to help you. They will want to find a way to help you get your children in school, because that's what this is all about. They can't succeed if they don't get there. So I want to make sure that you all know. Count Day is October the 6th. School board meeting Tuesdays, 5:30 tomorrow night, 5:30, Renaissance High School. And they do have a time when parents can ask questions and make comments. So don't think that I'm just going to go there and listen. No, you go in. If you have something you want to say or make a comment, you just let them know that when you walk in the door. They will call on you, and you can make whatever comment you please, respectfully. Please, respectfully. Remember, I used to sit on the Detroit Board of Education. I want you to please be respectful. There were times when people were not as respectful as they should have been as adults, especially with children in the audience. Don't let children see you acting the way you tell them not to act. So, again, school is in. Children need to be in class, ready to work, on time. Please let them be on time. And again, if you have some problems, let somebody know. There are all sorts of people who want to help out. All sorts of people who want to help out. I'll talk more about that next week, because that's going to be our subject for the next year and a half. We're going to be talking about babies at school and making sure that we take care of these babies. Boy, how time flies when you're having fun. You got good information to give to people. I can't believe it's time for us to say goodbye. My goodness. But before we do that, again, school board meeting tomorrow night at 5:30. Count Day is October the 6th. If you want to join the meeting virtually and you can't be there, go to DetroitK12.org/board. And you can get in and you can have your comments and you can hear what's going on. You'll hear from the school board members, you'll hear from the superintendent, and you'll hear what other parents are saying too, because you'll be able to hear all the comments and questions that parents have. Boy, thank you so much for joining us. I always like to be with you guys. You just don't know how much I like talking to you and hearing from you, because you help me keep going. I appreciate you. I'll talk to you next Monday at 4 o'clock. Until then, stay safe. Stay safe. And I know I keep saying there's one last thing, but there's one last thing. For those of you who know the Swanson Funeral Homes, O'Neill Swanson passed last year. They are having his celebration this week. You may be able to view his body today at Swanson Funeral Home on the east side on Mack and the Boulevard until 8 o'clock. And tomorrow. And then you'll be able to view his body on the west side at Swanson Funeral Home on 6 Mile. And then the funeral will be at Hartford Memorial Baptist Church. And I believe that will be on Thursday. O'Neill Swanson gave back to this city for decades. The Swanson family gave to this city for decades. And he is being honored this week, and we want to do everything we can to honor him and his memory. And then the last one that's being honored is my friend Levon Sheffield of the Sheffield family. Horace Sheffield Jr. was part of the labor movement, marched with Dr. Martin Luther King, started DABO, which is Detroit Organization of Black Organizations, Detroit Association of Black Organizations. Levon Sheffield was his daughter. She was an educator extraordinaire. I call her a phenomenal woman. Her services for celebration were today. And keep that Sheffield family in your prayers. Her brother, Horace Sheffield, is a minister of New Destiny Church. Her niece, Mary Sheffield, is a city council person. Keep that family in your prayers. When people lose someone, it's hard. It's very, very hard. And my friend Carolyn Cheeks Kilpatrick's brother passed. His funeral was this past Saturday. Keep the Kilpatrick family in your prayers. That's it for me. Have a great week. I just love talking to you. I'll talk to you next Monday. See you then.
Thank you for listening to Community Bell with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner Edna Bell. This broadcast was brought to you by WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, our website, www.wvtcradio.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. If you've enjoyed this broadcast, tell a friend to tune in. We'll see you next Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern to the Community Bell Show, right here on WVTC Radio Detroit. You're listening to WVTC Gospel Radio Detroit.